One. There we go.
It's all about the power and the money and the fame. Get it out the concrete, that's how we made the name. Bow down, kiss the ring. Wear my flaws like a crown, that's why they call me the king. All about the power and the money and the fame. Get it out the concrete, that's how we made the name. Bow down, kiss the ring. Wear my flaws like a crown, that's why they call me the king. K-I-N-G, yeah, they gon' envy. I'm still street, you get the beats like an MP. Still saying 10T, low to my Benji. Dirt all on my boots or on my heels like a NC. I was
Muted. All right. Oh, you're muted.
Intro started late. The mute I got muted. So anyway, man, it's Rajid, man. The king of romance. With Black Man's Ink, man, coming in with a new, I'm not gonna call him new, but coming in with another up and coming black man. All right, man, you got Mr. Glenn Murray in the house. How you doing, man? Y'all give it up for him.
I'm good. I'm good, man. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Man. I thought it was a test when you came in muted. I was like, wait a minute, what happened? I was digging the music. I was like nodding my head to the music and everything, and then all of a sudden it all went mute. I was like, oh no, I'm being punked. What happened?
Man, hey, my bad, man. I don't know. My system's tripping today. It's like everything delayed on me. Like,
that's okay.
So anyway, man, yeah, man. So hey, look, tell the people about Glenn Murray, man. What you got going on?
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. I'm very honored to be on here. My name is Glenn Murray. I am the owner of a company called 220 Holdings. And what that is a group of companies. I own a publishing company. I'm the founder of 220 Publishing. I'm also an author on 220 Publishing. I published a couple of books there, but we've published over 80 books over the last 11 years. Wow. I am a co-owner with my partner, Keisha Rose, and G Rose Productions. So we do some of our current projects are a show called Live from the Cave, which is men talking about issues that affect men. So if you think about a man cave, if you could go into a man cave with a camera, sneak a camera into a man cave, that's our show.
Man,
so
all right,
all kinds of issues. We may have to get you on the show as well.
Hey, man, anytime.
We also produce a show called Books and Bottles, which is a literary conversation paired with wine. So if you think about your favorite book and what you drink with it, wine, cocktails, great spirits, we do a show about that where we feature up and coming authors and new spirit brands, people that are in the industry talking. So we really try to highlight small batch, minority owned wineries, winemakers, things like that. Also, we produced a show called Making Love Better Together, which is based on a book by one of my first authors, Yanni Brown. We did a 10-season first season of that, a 10-episode first season of that show, and we're hoping to have season 2 coming soon. Also, I own a fun business called Wine Crawl. That's a private wine tour that we have franchises in 5 cities. It's literally, if you think about it, if you've ever been to Napa Valley, we kind of bring Napa Valley to your city. So we do a luxury tour. We go around to 3 or 4 different restaurants and wine bars doing tastings and pairings. So that's been a lot of fun. We've been doing that for 8 years now. We just celebrated our 8th anniversary.
Man, you're doing big things, man.
So I'm trying.
Like I'm slipping. I'm like, yeah, I need to catch up. You got it, man. And so tell me, why 220? Where did 220 come from?
220, that name is interesting. A long time ago, a friend of mine had that on her license plate. And I saw it and I was like, what does that mean? And she's like, that's kind of code for me for second to none. So I really liked the whole numbering thoughts behind it. So that's why I use 220. And our
Okay,
motto
okay.
is second to none on most of our businesses. So yeah.
I like it. I like it. I like it, man. So so Black Men's Inc. has kind of we're kind of here for authors, but we're not here for authors. Like we're here for like we started off as authors, but like you said, when we get together and start talking, we talk about everything. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, man. Like for me, first of all, I'm excited to let you know I'm excited to hear your story, man, because like I said, I get really, I'm proud of other Black men when y'all doing big things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It makes me proud to be a Black man when I see Black things going on. You know what I'm saying? And people are like, well, why just only Black things? It's not only Black things, but what people don't understand is a lot of times we don't get the credit we deserve as Black men, and that's why like shows like this, shows like the show you say you have, The Cave. These shows are needed.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we as Black men don't give ourselves enough credit. And then on top of that, society doesn't give Black men enough credit. So we have to go out and take our credit. So, man, I appreciate it. It looks like The Real Justice just came on. Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
There he is.
Uh-oh. Ladies and gentlemen, it is him. It is he. The Real. Smile, man. What's up?
I can't hear nothing.
Man, The Real Justice is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Man. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? This was the worst.
Hey,
I'm thinking, man.
Don't feel bad, man. When I first started, man, the intro didn't start on time. I was muted. All kind of stuff was going on. But like you here, man, and we're here with my man Glenn Murray, man. Glenn Murray, this is the co-host, The Real Justice.
Good to meet you, man. Good to meet you.
Likewise, sir. I do apologize, man.
It's all right.
I've never had a technical difficulty like that.
It's all
hey,
good.
The joys of live TV. The joys of live TV. That's what happens.
Facebook was trying to just keep us blocked, man. I don't know what was going on.
Facebook is always pulling a rabbit out of their hat, so we know.
Man.
So Justice, I was just talking to Mr. Murray about some of the projects he does, man. This cat is on top of things. This cat has a mobile wine tasting event.
What?
Man, yes. Mobile. Like he go from state to state. You say state to state, right?
Yeah, we have franchises in different states. So if you can imagine, so basically what it looks like is we either pick you up, we have a meeting place, we pick you up either in a limo or a luxury coach, depending on the number of people. And then we go from at least 3 to 4 spots where we do tastings and pairings. So it's a lot of fun. I can definitely say that. It's a lot of fun. We haven't had a bad one ever in 8 years, I think. But no, it was an idea that was born out of me going to Napa. I was at Napa Valley visiting doing wine tastings, and they do limo tours all around Napa, limo and party buses and just everything, because there's so many wineries. So I was living in Chicago. I thought, well, there's tons of good restaurants. There's tons of wine bars in that city. I need to try this out. And being the marketer, I tried it out the first time. We sold it out, 30 people or so on a nice coach. And I'm like, okay, I got to do it again. I got to prove the concept out. I don't believe it because in marketing, you got to test and retest. So we did it a second time, sold it out. I'm like, okay, this is a thing. Now let's try to make it seasonal. So we would do like 4 or 5 a year those first couple of years, like the spring, summer, fall. We couldn't get too deep in fall in Chicago because it'd be snowing. So,
man.
So then after we did that, we looked at other cities. So I took it to Atlanta. I did one in Indy. Atlanta was really good. Atlanta was very responsive. Then I went to Dallas because I started looking for mirroring cities that had the same demographic makeup of Chicago. And we did it there. So after that, it came through and I'm like, okay, this is happening everywhere. I can really do this. And how do I scale it? So I had a couple of people that come to me and say, hey, we'd like to host these in the city when you're not around. And so that's where the franchise idea was birthed. I talked to a few other people and they were like, you need to franchise it. And so, that's how it happened. So we're Chicago, Atlanta, Birmingham, Dallas, and the Carolinas right now.
Man, that's
how
impressive.
do people how do you pick the people that want to do the mobile? Do they contact you?
They contact us. We always are trying to highlight new and up and coming wineries and winemakers. So Gwen Hurt, who's out of Richmond, Virginia, she has Shoe Crazy Wine, African American owned wine brand. We've highlighted her. Love Corkscrew, which is out of Chicago, it's an African American owned wine brand. We've highlighted them. Idle Ice Wines, which is black owned. Rodney Foster's his name. He's out of Baltimore, DC area. We've highlighted him as well. And we've highlighted a couple of Hispanic owned spirit brands as well. So we really try to get the smaller batches out there to people who can't buy them in certain areas or they can't get into big box stores. So we try to make it exclusive where people get to meet the owners, they get to meet the winemakers at our events too. You know, we don't get to do that with all of them, but when we have the opportunity, we really try to do that, and we really try to highlight those people that are in the industry. It's a huge industry, and people don't realize how many people of color are in that industry, but it's tons. And really, we try to highlight that. We try to show, and keep in mind, like 60% of my audience is non-African American. But when you put a quality product out there, it doesn't matter because people will pay. Green is the only color that matters to some people, and they will pay it if they're getting a quality product. And that's what we focus on, is giving people an experience that they truly don't get anywhere else. So that's what really grown. So yeah, so you know, it's exciting because I get to introduce people to people that they don't see normally in this industry, tasting their goods and their product and seeing that it's good product, that we can produce it too, so that there's no real difference there. So I'm really proud of that fact that we've been able to do that over the 8 years.
Now when you say mobile wine tasting,
I
in
said
my mind,
it's not mobile. No, not like we're not tasting on the bus. No. That would be cool, but that's illegal.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I said mobile, bro.
Okay. I was going to ask you, how'd you get around the law? How'd you get around the law?
We can't do that. No.
And so going back, he also owns a production company.
Yeah.
And a publishing company.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it all was born out of that. So each one of those businesses really led to the other, honestly. So true story. I started out as doing just events in Chicago. We would do events. My parents owned an art business, so I started out kind of hosting shows for them. My stepfather is an artist, and my mom was supporting him and their business, and they imported African art. So I literally started out just doing an events company, and I was focusing on the arts. I was focusing on visual artists, things like that. Had a friend that wrote a book, and she was like, "Hey, I like what you're doing with the art shows. Can you do something with the books, with my book?" And I'm like, "All right, let me just think of something. Let's put something together, call it Authors and Artists." And that's what it called it. We had an event, and for 5 years we ran that. So we got in some big name authors to come and speak. Omar Tyree came to Authors and Artists and was one of my featured ones. Janice Kearney, who actually worked in the Clinton administration, she was one of the speakers there. And we kept doing that. And then I ended up wanting to publish after looking at some of the books and seeing what people were doing from a marketing perspective, that they really weren't carrying it through. It was like they wrote the book and then just kind of waited for things to happen. And you got your own book. So you couldn't just write the book and just wait and think about it and hope. And hope is not a plan, especially when it comes to writing a book. So helping them think and see past just getting the book out there and just having a book. And I wanted to do that. So we created 220 Publishing with that in mind. And, we still do a lot of that. We have a marketing arm that actually works with the authors post-release, giving them options on PR, giving them options on digital advertising. We actually just did a deal with a company in the UK that does digital billboard advertising around the country. So we try to provide more options for them to see different things. And I actually treat it like corporate. My background is corporate. So we do things like webinars on like what's new. Like I'm doing a webinar tomorrow with our authors about Clubhouse, just teaching them how to maneuver around it. And, what are the things you can do? Because sometimes it's a game of inches. So on the book is a game of inches. If you can get to, 10 more people to get that book out every day and just kind of increase that, and those numbers start to go up, and you're going to see your sales. That word of mouth starts to spread. And same thing, if you got a quality book, people are going to know about it and they're going to tell other people about it, but you've got to put yourself out there. So really teaching them about that. And that's
We've
where
been
the
talking about
publishing
this
comes
all
in.
week.
Really?
We've been talking about this exact same thing all week on two different levels: book marketing and Clubhouse.
Really?
Because I don't know. Like a matter of fact, it's a good cameo right now because we're announcing that Black Men's Inc. is going to Clubhouse.
Oh, nice. You know, this is how I found out about your show on Clubhouse. So I connected with Barbie.
Sister
And
Goose.
she told me about Sister Goose. Yeah, she told me about it and invited me onto the show. So that's how I found out about you guys. So, I mean, Clubhouse, I can't say enough good things about it, you know, about the opportunity to network and get yourself out there and meet different people and just, you know, just kind of jumping in. Sometimes so many people tell, I don't know how to do it. And I'm like, there's nothing to do. Go out there and listen. Go get in the room and listen.
Yep.
That's all you
what
have
I
to
do.
do. Yeah, that's all you have to do.
It was late night. I think it was about 11 o'clock. And I was telling Barbie about this. I went into a poetry room because I needed to clear my mind. I was working on some other things. So I'm thinking I'm going to hear, as the light moves closer to the darkness. No, that's not the poetry that was there. As I laid you on your back.
Oh, it was erotic poetry. Oh,
busting all over your neck. I was like, what the hell?
You was like, wait a minute, did I enter the porn room or the poetry room? Did I see them pee and just assumed it was poetry?
But it was amazing. It's amazing. It's almost like a buffet on Clubhouse.
Yeah, it is.
You can have whatever you like.
Yep. It's like LinkedIn came alive. If LinkedIn, somebody at LinkedIn probably lost their job because somebody at LinkedIn said, "Why didn't we think of this? Whose fault is this? Who didn't think of this? Who do I need to fire?" Because if you think about it, LinkedIn was a perfect platform to actually launch something like Clubhouse, and they didn't do it. Yeah,
it's funny you say that because I was listening to Clubhouse. I actually listened the other day to an investors room where they had actual investors where you could pitch your business in this room.
Yep, your business. Yep.
And it was actually
I've been in one where you could pitch your film. I've had some where you pitch your film.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's something else we're gonna talk about because just as I was telling them, Coma about to come to life. So Coma coming to life one way or another. You know what I'm saying? So I've already started the second book, and Coma is about to come to life. So I need that motivation, most definitely.
Yeah, and there's definitely some good authors rooms and just the support that you get out of those rooms. Like I did a couple of them. We created a club on Clubhouse, Club 220, and I have all my authors going in there because we publish all genres, and I have them go in there to do different rooms. We did a room on parenting today. Two of my authors who are parenting experts, are true parenting experts, and wrote books on it. And that room became like a room of healing. We had a gentleman in there who was talking about, a divorce he went through that was really rough and how he's learning how to parent his son. And he was having some issues that, some of the stuff we talk about on Live from the Cave in terms of just what are issues you go through as a Black man or as a man in general, and how you're challenged as a man in general by being a Black man. So it's like, there's a challenge of being a man. Then there's the other additional baggage that we carry. And I hate to call it baggage, but it's like some people make it baggage, being an African-American man and surviving. So he got into it and it just became a room of healing. So sometimes you go in with one thought and it comes out a totally different way. But it's just that's the meaning and the connection behind it. And if you go in there with that intention, I think you're gonna come out well. I mean, I think this will do great on Clubhouse, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it'll do great because everything we deal with, especially when our people come on, we get into what you do as far as your book, but it always ends up in a conversation. Always.
Yeah.
And that's why we're creating it. That's why me and Roz want to create it. One, because as the world opens back up, people are more inclined to listen than actually sit down and view you.
Yeah,
they're more inclined to just put their headphones on. They could be walking. Yeah, it's almost like a podcast.
Yeah, Clubhouse has replaced talk radio for me. I would rather listen to Clubhouse, plug my phone in the Clubhouse in my car, and listen to that now and go to different rooms because it just makes better sense. I feel like I get more out of it. Like you said, investing, I can be in a room and Glenn Cardone and Les Brown and people like that are in there talking, and it's just real for me.
Yeah. So it's crazy because, like I said, we talk about black men and honestly, like I said, when Black Men's Inc. goes to Clubhouse, it won't be Black Men's Inc. per se, but it'd be, a place where black men can come and talk about it. Talk about awkwardness of things, talk about uncomfortable things, talk about what we don't want to face, on a regular basis.
Right.
It's something that, like me and Justice, we both just got colonics. Like the hydro. Yeah. So it was an uncomfortable topic.
Oh yeah.
But it was a must. But it was a must do.
Oh yeah, we had a whole show on Live from the Cave after Chadwick Boseman died, and it was like the night after because he died on a Friday night, and our show is on Saturday, and like everybody was in a mood, but we were like colonoscopies. You got to do it. You got to do it, and African American men have to do it before you turn 50. You can't wait till you get 50. Obviously, he was 42, 43 and died of colon cancer. So let's, think about that. But your doctors will tell you that now that you can't wait. You got to take care of yourself. And that's a big one too. Your health is just huge. And that's something, and not just physical, but mental health. And we talk about mental health a lot.
Oh man, that's something Justice just brought up. Yep.
Yeah, and how, back in the day it was, just be strong and shake it off. But there's some stuff you can't shake off. There's some stuff that you need professional help for. And there's no shame in saying that. One of the most revealing things we had on our show was when all four of us, or all five of us that were on there at the time, talked about, yes, we've all seen therapists. We've all gotten therapy and gotten help for situations that we just couldn't figure out, and understanding that. And I think more of us need to know that. More of us need to say it, because the more we say it, the more people will really hear it. And to your point, you want people to hear you. Yeah. And you have to be saying the right things when you get this audience, when you've got an audience of people listening to you. It's almost a duty now to really talk to them and give them real talk. Yeah.
Yeah. Because people, like I said, people want you to keep it 100. You know? And like I said, it's something like I talked to Justice, and one of the realest cats I know. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, these days and growing up, being real meant you couldn't do certain things, or you didn't want to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? And a colonoscopy, the awkwardness of that, you couldn't be real.
Yeah.
You couldn't be, you know what I'm saying? There was you had to feel less of a man because if you got something like that done.
Yeah, it's crazy though. Like going to get an annual, like men who don't get an annual, you turn 40, you need to be up in the doctor every year, trying to figure out what the blood tests mean, trying to figure out what your cholesterol levels are, trying to see what else is going on in your blood and your vitamin C, what are your deficiencies, all those things. You need to understand.
What is your blood type? Things like that.
Yeah,
things that we
what's your blood type? Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that.
I guarantee you, if you had and it's sad that we can group them like this, but I guarantee if you had 10 black men, you ask them, yo, what's your blood type? But I bet the black women know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Women are more detail orientated. And one thing I learned today, and I hate to keep saying black culture, but I'm a black man. So, even in our culture, mental health has always been looked at as, oh, that boy just crazy. That boy just crazy. Yeah, there was never no treatment.
Right.
There was never no treatment. And one thing I'm learning is you don't need to be in war to be a victim of PTSD.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Right. You grow up in the wrong neighborhood, you grow up in the wrong city, then you've seen some stuff that a lot of people haven't seen by the time you're 21, 25 years old, I remember I was growing up in Memphis. I think the average age of African-American male living in the inner city was 25. The life expectancy was 25. You think about that. Yeah.
Now Glenn. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You good? Go ahead.
Glenn, I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a production company?
Yeah, so basically what we do is we create content, writing scripts, and we actually produce the three shows I mentioned through our partnership with Indie Network, which is a streaming network that we work with out of Chicago.
Mhm.
We also, we create screenplays. We're looking, to shop the screenplays, series, all of that. So we've co-written a few. Me and my partner have co-written some. We've co-written them with some of my authors. It all started from creating the screenplay for one of the books I published. So we sat down, the three of us sat down and wrote that screenplay. And from there, we just started creating. So we probably now have 10 to 15 different scripts, either ideas, treatments, for series and films, or full scripts written.
Wow.
And a couple of series where we've written pretty much a full season of a couple of series.
So my question is this: how does a web series format per se? Like what is the purpose? Because I know web series are not something that hasn't always been around. So what is the purpose of a web series as opposed to going straight to film?
For a web series, I mean, it's still the same from what you're filming. You still create the content, but the platform is the web, YouTube or your own website. That's basically the difference. It's still a full production. So if you look at Indie Network, you'll see series on there, you'll see films on there, but they're streaming. So it's just like it's Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime has series, and it's a web streaming app, basically. But it has series on there and it has film. So it's just the web series is just the term for it, but it's still it's still a television series. It's just the platform that you're distributing it on. That's really the difference.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes more sense to me. All right.
Yeah.
Far as a production,
Mm-hmm.
you said you've done series before. How much does it take to go? I'm not saying financially, but I'm just saying, as a production, how much work goes into creating a web series?
The only ones I've done are talk web series. So talk shows are much easier to produce, lower cost and everything, because we had a studio for our first one, and the other two we do virtually because of COVID. The studio was shut down, so we had to do them virtually. So from a cost perspective, there wasn't a lot. When we did in studio, we had the camera time, we had studio time that we were having to pay for. We've gotten estimates on producing documentaries and other series as well. So, it just ranges on what you want to do and how much time it's going to take you to do it. My advice is definitely align yourself with professionals who have done it before. We have a great team that we work with that have produced film. They produce series. So they really know going in kind of what are all the costs you're going to need. So it was really a great education for me. And it's such a difference doing a film or doing a production. Because I go into something like in publishing, I go in with a budget. I know exactly what I'm spending, and I know exactly what I can make at what period of time, because I know the break even. I know how many books I need to sell to break even on my investment.
Gotcha.
In film, it's an investment, and it's like throwing your money down a hole, and you got to figure out how you're going to make it back. So that's the difference for me. And I had to untrain my P&L driven mind to talk about just, what the expenses are going to be. And understand that first. Yeah.
Huh. Okay. So, and like I said, everything's a business. So yeah, they're definitely. Dang.
Yeah.
So I was going you were talking about the books or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in a learning stage right now of book marketing. Right. It's something that, we talk about, Justin and I we talk about as a team, for Black Girls and Black Men Inc. But how much effort do you put into marketing as far as like your books? Well, let me back up. How many books do you have? How many books have you written?
I've written 3. I've been a contributor on 2, and I wrote 1 about book marketing, actually, ironically, called You Wrote It, Now Go Sell It.
Well, I need you to send me the link so I can get that.
Yeah,
now,
so
that pretty much answer my next question. So I'm at an obstacle right now, to where, my book came out the box selling like crazy, and then it hits that wall.
You get that up there, and then you go be like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Get all the people I know.
I'm on a downslope. So like as and I don't want you to give any, like I said, I don't want you to give the game away because, you know what I'm saying, the game is to be, you know what I'm saying, I'll say sold, not told.
Sold, not told.
Yeah, vice versa. But bottom line is, just as a up-and-coming author, what tips would you give an up-and-coming author as far as marketing processes, I guess to say?
Right. No, that's fair. And you know, I'll definitely talk about some of the stuff in the book too, but you have to look at your book as a product. And if it's a product, how are all the ways you can draw revenue from that product? So we know the obvious: book sales, you know, making sure you have paperback, making sure you have ebook, but then what are the things you can do with that book? So depending on the topic, what are the podcasts that are out there? There's a free service called radioguestlist.com that basically gives you all of the opportunities of podcasts to go talk about your book. So yeah, I think it gives you maybe a list every 2 or 3 days a week of, you know, this podcast is looking for this particular author or this type of subject matter. And if this is you can pitch. So that's a free resource that's out there. People are always looking to talk to you about what you're doing with your book if you have a subject that people are interested in. So look at that. So that's one of the things I would say. Look at all the free resources first.
Yeah, definitely.
Clubhouse is another one where you can connect with other authors. And there's some rooms where you literally can go in and people are like, okay, you know, come up, pitch your book. And it's a free platform to pitch your book to people. I don't care if it's 5 people in that room or 500. You want to get on there and talk about who you are and let people know. Publishing a book means that it's time to not be shy. You need to really put yourself out there and understand that you are your product. And I think understanding that, because I get a lot of authors that are like, oh, you know, I'm not a salesperson and I just want to write, and, you know, hopefully Oprah will call me or Barnes and Noble will want me to come and do a signing. I'm like, yeah, keep dreaming about that, because you're not, you know, you selling 10 books is not going to make Oprah wake up, and anybody that works for Oprah, you know, care about you. You're not even on a radar of anybody's right now. So you need to understand that you have to be your biggest fan and your best salesperson for that book. And definitely hire people. If you can hire people, if you got the budget, a PR person is always good to have, a social media person who can help kind of drive your message and expand your message. But if you don't have that, then, you know, and that's really.
Let me let the dog out. Hold on, I'm sorry. The dog
okay.
I'm trying to listen to you. He barking. Come on. Go. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Go. Now you out. Bye. Sorry about that, man.
No, that's okay. That's all right. That's all right. So yeah, so the book really does talk about what are all the ways before you spend money that you can do this. You know, you need to look at, there's probably 5 to 6 revenue streams that you can roll from your book if you think about it. You know, ebook sales, paperback sales, speaking engagements. You know, if you are talking about any kind of specialty, consulting gigs that come from that. So think about it that way. Think about what are all the things you can do from your book. If your book is talking about, you know, how to do something, you know, you're positioning yourself as an expert. So what does that mean? Who's going to pay for that knowledge? You know, finding people to and see how they pay for that knowledge. So really think about it as, you know, they always talk about 7 streams of revenue. We'll try to get 4 of them from your book, 4 to 5 of them from your book.
Yeah. And that's kind of like that. And that's what my focus has been. So I do a lot of research. Like I've been in a research mode for the last couple of months, you know, just trying to get, like I said, just trying to figure out the best way to make revenue from the book. Because like I said, it started off on a blast. Boom. Everybody was waiting for it.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And like I said, once it fizzles, and we had an author on probably about a couple months ago, and he made a valuable point. Like this, your book, once you publish your book, is a lifetime supply of revenues.
Revenue.
It's not going anywhere. Especially with platforms like Amazon. It's always going to be there.
It's always going to be there. Yeah, so, print on demand makes it easy. You don't have to buy a bunch of books like in the old days where you had to buy boxes of thousands of books, sit them up in your room and hope and pray that people will buy them. Yeah, it's print on demand now. Yeah. You can print 1, you can print 1,000, you can print whatever you need. So that's gone away. So it's so easy now to be an author, but selling it is still the same. You still have to get out there and do it. But you know, you think about it, think about your book. Like I said, look at it as a product. Some people treat it as their firstborn child, and they're so delicate and they don't want to do anything with it. But no, you got to look at that. Another way is reviews, because reviews help drive up your ranking on Amazon. They help to raise the algorithms, help raise your visibility on Amazon. So all those people that have bought your book, make sure that they're going in and writing reviews about the book, to let people know about it, because you can leverage those reviews as well. You know, a little known, it's not really little known, but Goodreads, which is owned by Amazon, is another place where you can post blogs. If you're doing blogging or anything else, you can post that content on Amazon, on Goodreads, and people can go see it there along with your book, which is already listed there because of the connection to Amazon. Also, Goodreads tells you everywhere your book is. So you can go in there and look and see, you might see libraries that have bought your book you didn't even know about. So I can tell you who sources your book, where it's available at. Uh-oh, you're muted again.
You're muted, man.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, my bad. Sorry about that. I was trying to, because the dog was barking, I was trying to keep him from. So yeah, I actually have some reviews on Goodreads. As a matter of fact, I don't even know how I got to Goodreads, and I think it probably had something to do with the publishing company I went through. But somebody hit me up and said, "Hey man, you got some good reviews on Goodreads." I'm like, I don't even know what Goodreads is, but apparently it ended up on Goodreads. I'm like, okay, well shoot, that's all right. But
yeah, Goodreads is like Facebook for readers, basically. That's what I like to call it.
Yeah, I don't even know how I got on Goodreads. But apparently, I slipped in there some kind of way. So hey, it's always a good thing. So, what other projects you got going on, man? Like you got a lot going on. You got a lot on your umbrella. So I'm trying to find out every aspect of what Mr. Murray got going on.
So the big thing is we're in season 2 now of Live from the Cave, and as well as Books and Bottles. Books and Bottles season 2 kicks off tomorrow night. We're already in the middle of season 2 of Live from the Cave, so we're happy about that. Just trying to get people to get eyes on that, have some quality guests, have real conversations. It's hilarious because women listen to that show. Women are, of course, our biggest demographic on the show because they want to hear what men have to say. But then when we say it, women get pissed off and want to come on the show. So I can tell you, after every show, it never fails. I get an email from a friend of mine is like, I like your show, but you need to have a woman on there, get their opinion. And it's hilarious because we have one woman producer, Keisha Rose. We send them to Keisha because Keisha basically is like the security for the men. We're like, look, you talk to her. She already said no women. If a woman says no women, you can forget it. But yeah, everybody wants, it's so funny. Women and the dynamic between males and females are so funny. Everybody wants communication. Women say they want communication. They want communication, but they want it the way they want it. They don't necessarily want you to give it to them the way you want to give it to them sometimes. So we get a lot of that. And that's not everybody, but that's the hilarious part of this. That's been the byproduct of it.
A lot of that's one-way communication. Yes,
exactly. It's like, okay, I'm going to tell you what I want to tell you, and then you're going to tell me how I want you to tell it back to me.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly.
Like I always say that about people who claim to tell it like it is, never like it when like it is told to them.
Yes, that's pretty much how that go.
Yeah.
And so for us, we as moving on to Clubhouse.
Yeah.
I can imagine that we'll have the same issue because, like I said, we're putting out a foundation to talk about it for Black men to come talk about it.
Yeah.
And so, because we talk about anything from single fatherhood to, like I said, health problems or whatever. But like I said, a lot of times females want to know what we think so they can change
the way we think.
Exactly. It's like we get
that is so true. That is so true. I had a woman argue me down. I mean, I got into a back and forth Facebook argument with this woman because she was insisting that we needed a group of women, not just one woman. We needed a group of women to come back and rebut us. We needed to have them on the show because it wasn't fair. We were giving our opinion. Like, how dare we give our opinion? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I couldn't give an opinion. I thought we free now. I can give my opinion.
And it's funny you say that because we had a panel of females on,
Oh,
these, I
Lord.
mean, of sisters that were very brilliant. You know, now these sisters, I mean, really down to earth or whatever. And like I said, we still, like you said, we got, you know, so they got their point across, put it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
They
I'm
came
sure.
in guns blazing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why we don't even want to let them on, because they be getting historical on us. They bring up, yeah, Glenn, in episode 13 from last March, you said this. Wow. So that's why we won't even entertain it. Yeah, we won't even entertain it. So yeah, but no, it's fun. So that's what's going on. We're doing Faith, Failure, Success is a book that I actually was a contributor to, and that was one of our first bestsellers. We're doing a part 2 to that called Surviving the Storm, where I have 5 amazing women that are talking about their experience in surviving the storm. So Faith, Failure, Success is going to be a book series that we're creating. And the first one talked about the entrepreneurial journey. So this one is going to be called Surviving the Storm. We're going to do a third one called Turning Point. So it's everybody kind of giving you an insight into their life and how their life has changed, either through business, through just things happening, through traumatic experiences or whatever. But it's been a really popular book series for us. And I'm so proud of you know, everybody that participated and everybody that's going to participate in it. So that's coming up. I'm excited about that. That'll probably be released late July, early August.
Nice. And so I see another umbrella, something that's under your umbrella. It says G Rose Production.
Yeah, that's the production company, G Rose Production.
That's the production company, right?
Yeah, that's the production company. My partner, Keisha Rose. So I'm the G, she's the Rose. She makes me look a lot better than I look.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about
that. Always surround yourself with a beautiful woman. That helps a lot. That does tremendous things for you.
Here's my question for you, Mr. Murray. How did you thrive during this COVID, this pandemic with your companies?
My companies thrived because people realized that time was short. You know, tomorrow's not promised. One of my friends lost probably about 10 or 12 people during COVID. Personally, I lost my aunt, my uncle during COVID, and another really good friend who died maybe about a week before his 50th birthday, all because of COVID. Wow. So I think a lot of people realize that I need to write that book, or I need to do that thing that I didn't do, or I've been procrastinating about. So that's one of the reasons I think we saw, you know, our book list grow, and the people that are interested in writing books, we saw that number grow. The other thing we did with the Cave show, it really became healing for us. In the middle of one of my castmates, he had lost quite a few people to COVID, and I called him. I'm like, you know, dude, if you need to take a few weeks off, it's cool. And he's like, no, this actually helps me. Coming every Saturday night talking to you guys actually is therapy for me. So that told me we were doing something good from that.
So what's Live from the Cave?
So Live from the Cave is a show where it's me and 4 other men, and we just have these general conversations about everything from relationships to current events to politics, everything. So that's what I'm talking about, where we got all the backlash from women, or feedback, I should say, not all backlash. And I have to say, one of the really cool things that came out of this, and this actually happened last week, and I haven't even shared this with anybody on the show. One of our viewers, female, it was her birthday. So I always try to wish people happy birthday. And she thanked me and she said, I have 2 sons and I hope that they can become just like the guys that are on Live from the Cave. She's like, y'all are intelligent African-American men doing great things, having great conversations that needed to be had. And I want my sons to be able to do what you guys are doing. That's the ultimate compliment. That tells me that what we're doing, what our producers are doing, what our network is doing is the right thing, you know, and it's going to help people and it's going to change us, because you need to see us having these kind of conversations just like we're doing now. I think you can't have enough of it, you know. And as Keisha always says, women have a million talk shows and a million ways to talk. They have the Talk, the Chew, the whatever else it is, the View, and all those other shows, but you just don't see it with men. And we think there needs to be more of that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Because like I said, we as black men, you know, like when we do get those one-offs, those compliments, and those data boards, you know what I'm saying? It means a lot, because there are a lot of us out here. You know, I've I've learned
doing good things. Doing good things. There are a lot of us out here doing good things.
Yeah, exactly. Like everything, having this show shows me how many good black men out here.
Yeah.
You know, that's doing. I mean, when I say doing good things, I mean with the kids. You know, treating our women like queens. I mean, you know, just doing positive things in our community. You know, and allowing that to bleed out. You know, because we got to let the positiveness bleed. This is something I always say. You know, young people can be influenced positively just as quick as they can be influenced negatively.
Right? Know? Exactly. It's all about the images you show.
Yeah, growing up, and I'm pretty sure, like I said, you know, growing up in, I mean, I don't know if you grew up, say from Chicago, but you know, I grew up in Pensacola, Florida, and you know, neighborhood I grew up in, on a daily basis, you see young girls pushing strollers down the street, 2 and 3 of them together. You know what I'm saying? Young men, you know, they're thriving to be the next dope boy. You know, and I thought I was thinking to myself, it's easy to show them the negativeness of, you know, you could be a dope boy, it's gonna bring you money, but it's also gonna cause you other problems as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, you're living looking over your shoulder for life
all the time. You know what I'm saying? And we teach survival of the fittest. I understand that. But growing up and seeing that I'm able to influence a positive role just as quick I can influence a negative role means a lot. You know, it goes a long way. I can honestly say that I've watched young men, I've saved some young men, you know, that could have went down the wrong road. But people don't understand, you know, you can say one sentence can change somebody's life.
Exactly. Believing in somebody can change their life. If you tell a young man that you believe in him.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Somebody change their life, because a lot of people are reaching out for that reassurance that it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know,
and
if as a young man, if I don't see it's going to be okay and nobody's telling me it's going to be okay, I got to go handle my business. I got to go out here and do what I can, because I don't know it's going to be okay.
You're going to make it okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So I got to make it okay. And so with men like yourself, Justice, a lot of the other men that we've interviewed with this series and version of black men, I like to say, you know what I'm saying, we're going to be able to create a stronger society. You know, and I appreciate, like I say it every time, I appreciate the work that you all are doing as positive black role models. And like I said, I mean, Justice, a lady said something to Justice about a month or so ago, you know, about how he influenced her son, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, with that being said, it's just like we've all been through it. You know what I'm saying? We've been there.
Yeah.
You know, on our own levels, we've been through it. And if we can, and like I said, we continue to influence in a positive manner and get ourselves out there. Like I signed up for to volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club right before the pandemic. Talk to kids, and you know, I do cybersecurity, and putting that out to the kids, young black kids, it was so eye-opening for them.
Oh yeah, because that's a huge that industry, that job. There was an article in the USA Today, and they said for the next 10 to 15 years, that's going to be one of the best jobs you can have is cybersecurity, because everything's going online. So they're going to need people like you that are actually able and adept at helping people protect their data. Yeah,
and them not knowing that they had the potential to get into that field,
right?
You know, because it's something like I raised my son. I got my I was a single father. I got my son when he was about 11. And when I got him, he already had some influences from other side of his family, and he would tell me as a black kid he wasn't able to do certain things, you know. And for him to tell me this, and for him to be taught that, really, you know, made an impact on how I raised him, because, you know, no one should tell you what you can't be.
Yeah, you can't be living with limits already.
Exactly. You can't have glass ceilings. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I would always tell him that, you know. And come to find out, he wanted to be a psychiatrist because he had went through so much stuff mentally. He wanted to help out other people. you know. But he thought as a young black man who played basketball, who came from the street, who, you know, because he grew up in Oklahoma City, you know, he got some tattoos when he was young, you know, when he's still with his mom. That's why I got him. But all this being said, he thought he didn't look the part, you know, and by him not looking the part, he felt like, you know, he wasn't, society wasn't going to allow him to do what he wanted to do, you know. And like I said, we have to continue to teach our youth that, hey, you know, glass ceilings are broken.
Yeah.
You know, if they're going to be obstacles, they're going to be obstacles, and it's going to be, you know, some roads are going to be harder than others. You know what I'm saying? But it shouldn't stop you.
No.
And it's not going to stop you because, like I said, we as a culture have to continue to uplift and help, you know, and I think that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, and they need to understand, and they need to see it's not just what you see on TV. It's other people doing some great things, and if we can put more of those people on TV, that would be wonderful. And one of the things that we try to do with the production company is show that. We want to show those positive role models, and you know, we firmly believe we're going to get to a platform that's going to be much wider. You know, it's not even we hope, we think, we are. You know, we don't bring the hope into our conversations because hope just has no room in our conversations. That's what we want to do and what we will do. And that's basically how we plan. And we look at who we surround ourselves with. We look at, you know, finding young writers, people that want to write, people that want to create, and figuring out how we can connect them to other people that are doing things, you know, any way, shape, or form. But we try to bring our circle and widen our circle as much as we can with people that are doing things. So when you look into our circle, you're going to find that person that you can look up to and that's doing something positive. You know, and it might be something totally outside the norm. A good friend of mine told me, I don't know any black men that know wine. I'm like, well, now you do. And there's a bunch of other ones. Let me introduce them to you. Here's some that actually own wine companies. What I'm doing is just scratching the surface, but I'm opening up a whole nother world of people that are in this industry and making a living in this industry, a really good living. So understanding that. So, you know, if you can save one life, it's worth it. Every minute of the blood, sweat, and tears is worth it if you can save one life. And that life, if that life is your son, all the better, because that's your legacy too. Yep, exactly.
Well, look, man, hey, we can talk like we talk. When we get talking, we'll talk all night. So, but what I want you to do before, because I know we're coming up in an hour, what I want you to do before we roll up out of here, man, tell the people where they can find you, what you can offer them if they're looking for any service, production, anything. Like I said, just give the people, like I said, let them know where they can find you. Because man, I'm looking for you. I'm hitting you up. We gonna talk.
All right, that's cool.
On marketing, we need to talk. Yeah.
That's cool. Probably the easiest way to find me is on IG at Glenn220, which is on the screen there. That's my IG ID. And that's also my Twitter ID. And then I'm on Facebook under Glenn Murray. I actually have a couple of pages on Facebook under Glenn Murray, so you can find me there directly. If you're interested in publishing, 220 Publishing has a page on Facebook, and our website is 220books.com, and you can find us there. G Rose Productions, same thing. You can find us on Facebook. That's probably the easiest way to find us pretty quickly. G Rose Productions. You know, you can see us there. Wine Crawl is easy, wine-crawl.com, or you can look on Facebook. We got a page, and you can find everything you need there. But yeah, get at me if you're interested in getting published, or just finding out more about our companies. Would love to talk to people. I try to answer all my email. I don't always get to them quickly. You know, I usually, I need about 48 hours, but I try to get to them. I try to get you an answer. And even if the answer is I don't know, you'll get an I don't know from me. So I will, or I don't know, and here's who I do know that might know something more. So definitely, but man, this has been fun, man. I appreciate it. I love what you guys are doing. We're going to get you on the cave. When you go on Clubhouse, let me know, because I'll definitely be pinging people and letting them know you guys are on there.
Oh, no doubt, man. The same with us, man. Same with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I love what you're doing, man. Like I said, I'm impressed by the wine thing alone. Like I said, I don't know a lot of brothers that do wine. And it's very intriguing because I like to dip into outside the box. I like to dip into what they don't think we're supposed to be dipped into.
Yeah,
So,
and that was one of the reasons I did it. That was one of the reasons I grew it, because I was like, okay, I like this, but let me figure out how I can do this in a way that actually impacts other people. And then I got to know so many people in the industry by doing that until it just really, it all kind of opened my eyes to what it was and understanding it. And, you know, it's like any other thing. It's small businesses and they're trying to make it. They just happen to be trying to make it in a world where, you know, 99% of it doesn't look like them. And they're just trying to figure out their niche into it. But there's lots of opportunities out there. The biggest thing is so funny. I see all these ballers with wine brands and stuff. The real money is in distribution. If there was an African-American owned distribution company, because, you know, whoever controls distribution controls all the dollars. Think about it.
Yeah.
You know, in any industry, you know, that's the one thing that there's not. I don't know of an African-American owned liquor, wine and spirits distribution company, but that would help a lot of the smaller brands, a lot of the smaller houses that are trying to produce their own wines. That would help them, because your biggest hurdle is getting into the retailers. That is the hardest thing to do, is get those big box retailers to pay attention to you. Because here's what happens. The big boys come and they're dropping millions for you to push their stuff into the retailers. So if you don't have that money, to pay that distributor, then you're stuck with a smaller distributor that has a smaller footprint, and you're not going to get into the big boxes. So that's really where the game is played, and that's really where the money is made, in distribution, as with anything.
Well, look, we need to open up. We need to get some black distributors out there.
Yeah, exactly. I see people investing in brands, but if you invest in the distribution, that means lots more, and you'll help a lot more people doing that.
Man, we're gonna talk, man. Like I said, this is not our last conversation.
All right, cool.
Not at all.
Pretty sure we're gonna see you on Clubhouse.
Yeah,
hey, we're gonna be in your room. We're gonna come check you out, man. This is, like I said, this is the beginning of a new relationship. I'm gonna go and say it right here. Yes, what else you got, man?
That's
man,
it. I'm good.
That's it, man. This Mr. Murray, man. Like, I'm definitely gonna link up. You know what I mean? Man. Definitely gonna link up.
Good.
Well, look, man, this has been another episode of Black Men's Inc. Black Men's Inc. is moving to Clubhouse. As a matter of fact, we're gonna go and put it. We're doing a barbershop room. Pretty much, come as you are, black men. Come, let's talk about it. We're gonna chop it up. We're gonna call it the chop shop. We're gonna chop it up, and then we're gonna link up with the cave, because I know them brothers talking about stuff over there. Hey, listen. No way, shape, or form of competition is. Hey, we all
we supporting each other.
We supporting each other, man. Definitely, no doubt. So listen, man, y'all come see. Hey, y'all come see. Check out Black Men's Inc. We about to launch this. Like I said, this Clubhouse. Go check out my man Glenn Murray on Instagram. Hey, we're doing big things. All right. So anyway, we about to head out. You know what I'm saying? It's been a pleasure having Mr. Murray on. Hey, Real Justice. We out, bro. Man. Hey,
man, thank you very much. That was great.
It was my pleasure, man. Once again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. That has never happened.